Hi, this is George, and I'd like to go through with you our financial reporting engine and our financial system that's tied into our agricultural and CTRM solution, which is really pretty cool. On top of our best-in-class operational system, we also have a very competitive and very nice best-in-class financial reporting system. So the two elements of our financial reporting system that I'm going to review is how transactions inquiry works and also financial reports. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is how to set up your chart of accounts to allow you to get the most out of your system. So when you look at our chart of accounts, when you look at what we do, we have the ability to segment by primary account, by location, and line of business. Now what this does is give you the quick ability to create canned financial reports by location, by line of business, if you set up your groups. So we allow you to set up as many pre-configured groups as you want that allow you to drill into your assets, your liabilities, your expenses, and configure those accounts with any number of subgroups any way you want. Once you've configured these groups and assigned them to accounts, you're able to easily generate financial reports from templates. So if I wanted to create a balance sheet from a template, I can go to Financial Reports, Templates, click Balance Sheet, and create this one time only and generate the report. And what this will do is this will, based upon my account categories, roll off all my accounts and show me a balance sheet that quick, right? So that's actually looked through all my accounts and created a balance sheet based upon the template. And this balance sheet, not only does it give you a balance sheet that could be comparative across years with prior units of measure. Note that in our financial statement you can do units as well as dollar amounts. You can actually drill into the transactions and get into the detail of the accounts that support those transactions, and from there you can actually see the journal entries or the actual payables entries that made those transactions, and if they're available, fiscally controlled, you can unpost those transactions as well, adjust them, and rerun your financial reports. So the drill in i21 is unparalleled with respect to what it can do and what it can give you. Now, the next part that we want to look at besides the drill that's important to you when you're running your financial statements is also the ability to close periods. So from within the financial report viewer, you are able to close accounting periods once you're comfortable with your numbers and archive. We've attached a second video that goes through the details of archiving financial reports. So you can either look for that attachment or you can look it up on the web to look about i21 and archiving financial reports. So from that deep drill down, let's back off a little bit and show you some of the information that supports and make sure that you're only allowing people access to appropriate years. What you'll note is inside of our fiscal year setup, we do have the ability for people to access only specific modules. So we can close specific modules one at a time. This allows you to manage your close and ensure that the appropriate data is accurately impacted. The other piece that's nice from the respect of our closing, it is a close in respect to a soft close so that it prevents entry, but if you were to reopen your period, it doesn't actually create a hard close with entries. So therefore, you can at any time go back into prior periods, make adjustments, and rest assured the financial statements will come out appropriately. So it's kind of nice from that respect. The other huge thing, again, as stated, is you can close module by module. Okay. Now, on top of that security, we do have a full user role security that allows you to determine what user gets to what menus. So from an accounting perspective and segregation of duty, it's imperative that you don't give people access to general journal entries, let's say. You can control that with a simple and easy screen editor. Now, on top of the screen editor, you can actually go to specific screens and give out permissions and specific controls. So if I didn't want someone to post, I could prevent them from having access to that. So from the respect of reporting, drill down, we've showed that, and posting and permission controls, you note that you have those as well. The next thing that you might be interested in is transaction inquiry. And one of the big things in i21 is whether it be journal entries or vouchers, every screen has a history of what it will post if you hit post on this transaction and a post history of what it did post in the past. So let's take this journal entry and post it. There's very good clarity about what did happen in the past and when it happened. You'll note I see the date the transaction was posted and the amounts that was posted. There's also clarity of if I were to unpost this transaction, what happened. And that historic review goes on and on. So as I post and repost, I'll have a full history of what happened when a transaction was entered, posted, and unposted. So from the respect of ease of managing that solution and making sure you know what happened, it's right there. That, in conjunction with the audit log that tracks the dates that things happened and the details of what happened. This is not a production entry, and I save that. You'll note that my audit log, which is great from an accounting perspective, shows me what happened and what got changed at any given day. So I can see the updated got changed from on 9/22. It went from test to this is a production entry, and it was updated here again from this is a production entry to this is not a production entry. So you'll note by field I can clearly see what changed. So if amounts changed, those would be shown. If transactions were posted, those would be shown, and that's all in a nice inline sequential view to ensure my accounting is square. Another piece that we've added is detailed posting into the general ledger. So our GL account detail has been optimized for multiple millions of transactions. You'll note I have 2 million transactions here, and you'll note that I can look at any transaction such as an inventory receipt and see that inventory receipt and see what happened on both sides. Now I can do that from the transaction, or I can actually do it from the general ledger. And if I want to see what else hit in that particular period, I can just simply drill on the transaction. Now, if I want a more clear view of that inventory receipt, I can click on it and it'll go back into the inventory receipt. And again, I have the unpost preview to see what would happen if I were to unpost this transaction. So on every screen, you can see what would happen if you posted, what happens if you unpost, and the full details that tie to the general ledger. These transactions are also marked with the post date and a timestamp, so you can see the date that they were posted, the date that they impacted general ledger, the time that it was done, and the user that did it. So from an auditability, drillability, usability, it's a highly functional system that's fully integrated. The benefits of the full integration is that you ensure less errors and you ensure that the system is tied together with the least amount of effort. There's no posting inside the general ledger. Once a transaction posts in the subledger, it's automatically reflected online real time in your general ledger. Now, if you choose to batch post journal entries, you can, or you can operate under an online real-time environment where when you go out of a journal entry, you post it, and it's immediately impacting your financial reports as well as purchasing and sales. Those transactions, as soon as they're posted, which can be the save, they impact the general ledger immediately, giving you update financial reports with drill down, such as I've displayed on these transaction sets.